So tell me, Victor, how did you get into trekking?
I started doing martial arts when I was a little kid, karate and stuff, and obviously when the internet became common hold in every house, I started searching online, and if you remember, there was a thing called LimeWire.
Yeah, back in the days.
And
yeah.
I would search for Bruce Lee related stuff and Jackie Chan related stuff. And I just happened to come across this video from Loop Kicks 2005, gathering something, and at the time I'd never seen anything like that, and in a matter of a couple of days I decided that I just had to learn that.
So to people who are new to trekking, what exactly is a gathering?
A gathering is just a lot of people gathering and doing something they enjoy together, basically said. It's that simple. No rules or anything like that. Well, you can make it into a competition or anything like that if you please, but it's basically just a lot of people gathering and doing something together. You could have, I don't know, a skiing gathering or a kendama gathering or whatever people enjoy.
But it's a term often used in
very
trekking.
often used in trekking. It has become the standard word for what people do when they do trekking together. They're going to a gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so perhaps someone out there is watching and has been thinking about getting into trekking. Do you have any advice for someone new to this thing?
I would have two kinds of advice. I would have a sort of technical advice, which would be to definitely focus on getting your basics clean, because they talk a lot about style these days. It's all about style because pretty much every trick has been landed when it comes to extremes, and style really is perfection of the basics. And the basics look different depending on your body type and such. So if you get your basics down, it will affect every other trick. If you have a clean hook, your box cut is going to look amazing, and so goes for your 720 and so on. So definitely get your basics down. And the other piece of advice would be more of a modern advice, because tricking has changed a lot these days. In the beginning it was a very small group of people sort of exploring this new thing together, and there was definitely, I think, a feeling of being pioneers and doing something new, something no one had done before, and always that question of what is the limit, who's going to do the double or the triple something, or who's going to land the perfect sum and sum. Now pretty much everything has been done, and you can guesstimate what the limits are going to be. And if you're new to this thing and you just go online, you're going to find thousands of people, hundreds of them doing things so crazy that you'll never, well, statistically speaking, you'll never reach that level yourself, and that can sort of take the fun out of it. So I would say focus on the element of the journey in it, sharing the experience of unlocking this new sport and testing yourself. Have that be the main thing, and look at the experts as inspiration and entertainment, basically. Focus on your own journey within it, and you'll keep the fun in it, because a lot of people lose the fun element because it becomes too competitive. It's all about, well, everything has been done, what hasn't been done, that's only this extreme, I can't do that, so fuck the sport, I'm gonna do something else. Focus on the journey aspect of it, the exploration of the sport, and you'll keep the fun, I think.
I think that goes for all of life pretty much. You have to reach some results, but if the journey isn't,
it's not worth it.
Isn't part of the
joy,
joy.
Because you're going to lose the result in the end.
Yeah.
Once you reach the age of 40 something, you're not going to be able to do whatever trick you used to do anyway. So if it wasn't fun getting there, it's a bit of a waste.
Are there anything you regret not knowing from the get-go when you started out trekking?
I regret not knowing the importance of fundamentals and techniques. I did not know how to do a proper hook kick. I did not know the importance of the fundamentals, and as a result of that, especially in the beginning, my tricks looked like shit, and I did not know why. I would analyze them, and they just looked like shit. It would have been nice if I just known that, you should focus on your tornado kick before you upgrade it into a 540, and it will look good. Other than that, I don't know. Perhaps maybe I should have enjoyed the camaraderie, the aspect of doing it with other people more. I was very alone in the beginning, had a few, like 2 or 3 friends I used to trick with, but I should have enjoyed it more, I think.
And what about conditioning to avoid injuries and to become a better
Definitely
trigger?
a good idea. Definitely a good idea. Flexibility especially is extremely important, not just in avoiding injuries and such, but also when it comes to wanting to do certain techniques clean and smoothly and just have a good flow and style. Flexibility perhaps is the main thing, but you don't want to make it your only thing. I've seen a lot of people who are extremely flexible, but they don't have, if you think of flexibility as one parameter, sort of comparing it to a game or something, this is one stat, and you have strength and just explosiveness is another one. If these become unbalanced, you have this sort of wobbly, not really powerful expression of the technique. And I see a lot of that happening, especially with people who come from wushu and some other martial arts and are not at the pro level. They're extremely flexible, but the body just sort of won't stand still, or won't keep tight when it needs to.
Yeah.
So keep a balance of those, perhaps a little bit of flexibility training, and a little bit of strength training won't help.
Yeah.
Will help, definitely. Will help.
I believe that there's a relationship between flexibility and strength.
Definitely.
Like they complement each other, which I also did a video on, and I'll leave a link.
Let's
for
call
that.
strength the yang and flexibility the yin thing, and
Exactly.
have people try to reach a balance, strike a balance.
Yeah. So finally, like from tricking and pursuing your passion, is there anything you've learned which you feel can help others in any field, regardless of whether it's tricking or anything else, perhaps?
I'm gonna say then more of a technical approach to a philosophy. Recently I have realized that pretty much everything is just a skill. When they say you can do everything and such, it's not because potential is unlimited or the universe is all amazing necessarily. It's basically because everything that you deem worthy of learning is just a skill, and it has been learned before, because otherwise you wouldn't know about it, wouldn't have been written about. So if you take that sort of calm and humble approach to it, this is just a skill, it's just a set of rules. If I learn it and master it, I can then do whatever you want to do with it, but don't put things on a pedestal like that and say that's something you'll never be able to do, or that requires some kind of special spiritual power or something. It doesn't. Everything is, in the end, a skill. It can make the world sound a little boring, but not necessarily. It's like getting a scientific explanation for something. It can make it boring unless you're creative about it. It's beautiful in its own sense.
Yeah.
So don't put things on a pedestal.
It's like,
it's a skill.
yeah, like even a really talented comedian, there is like a specific method in the system. And sometimes people don't even realize it while they're good at it. But
and obviously you don't just
it.
want to learn that system and have that be all you do, obviously. But just, let's say you wanted to become a comedian. Don't think of your inspirational, or whatever, comedians as gods in some sense. If there's something you don't understand, if there's something that seems impossible, it's because you're missing the trick. There's always a little bit of a trick to it. And as someone who has acquired, I guess, some level of skill within a lot of different things, there's always a trick.
Yeah.
Just one piece of information you were lacking, the ones that you got that final piece of the puzzle, it all made sense.
Thanks.
So keep searching for that.
Yeah.
That would be my advice.
That's an interesting perspective for sure, and I'm glad you share it with the audience. Thank you, Viktor.
My pleasure.